G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Pierre, this is Simple Home Brew. Today, I've just poured myself a beer here, I'm doing a Coopers Stout. We're actually using Coopers Stout Extract and doing a partial mash. My mindset was I need to get a stout ready for the winter time. I really like a stout in the winter time, and I didn't want to grab just a Coopers Stout. I wanted to enhance it a little bit. So I decided, look around on the internet, see if I can find a recipe there that would be available for me to make an enhanced stout. Now, I had a few stouts lately and they've been bloody awesome, and basically I want something like that, hopefully. So what I did was I found Aussie Homebrew and they made a recipe chart of different types of stouts. I printed it out so I can use it, and I got all the ingredients to actually make this. Didn't cost me too much. I think it was on special for all up. I think everything cost me $40. That's a good beer. But what's in the recipe is roasted barley. This is Joe White roasted barley. We have light dried malt extract. We also have dark dried malt extract. We have some raw sugar, Willamette hops, like going into this, and of course this bloke. The first thing we need to do is heat up our extract to make sure we can actually pour it. So I've got a kettle full of hot water. So with the extract, you need to remove the lid, of course, which is that one. Now these are just very easy to move. You just pull the tab and off you go. They do provide you with yeast, but we're not using that today. And on the packaging, there's actually instructions underneath. Now you can just peel that off if you want to. Peel it here, there's a little tab on the side. I just quickly got into it, but it peels off just like that. Now, I'm peeling it off because it soaks in there, but on the inside there are full instructions on how to actually make this, as well as, you know, all the ideas and all the things you might need to make it beforehand. I'm going to throw that in a container over here. So this little beauty, this is just my soaking container. I use it to soak and heat up my extracts, and then I just grab my water, hot water, pour it over the top. This is 2 litres of boiling hot water. That'll soak for about 15 minutes or longer, depends on how quickly I get this thing done. Pop the lid back on to keep the heat in, and that's it. That's going to heat up, take about 15 minutes to heat up. You can leave it longer, just as long as it doesn't get cold again as you're waiting too long. We also need to steep some hops. So this is going to have to be boiled in a pot of 4 litres of hot water. I'm going to go get a camp stove and bring it out here and do it here. So what I have here is a camp oven. This camp oven I use for camping. Anyway, it's got a full canister of gas. I just activated it, and I need to boil 4 litres of water to steep hops in. So the gas is on. You can probably see the flame happening there. I haven't used fire to do brewing since I first started brewing, so this is going to be very interesting. Once that's boiled, I'm going to steep some hops, and I'll show you what to do with the hops. Okay, so what we're going to do is measure out 16 grams of Willamette hops. This is type 90 hop pellets. Alpha 3.5%, crop 2022, batch number 22P1 WIL11. Now I've got 100 grams, that's all they supply, so that's all I can get. I'm going to quickly measure this out, do it on its side like this so you guys can see, hopefully, and we'll see how it goes, 16 grams. There. Put it back. There you go, that'll look. Happy with that. Now I won't throw this out, won't put this aside yet. I still need to take another 10 grams out for flavouring. So that's it, that's all the hops we're doing. And with those hops, we're going to put them into a steeping bag. It's just a bag, a meshy bag. It has gaps all around. I've used this before, that's why it's off colour, and that's because I put hops in it. I've got 2 things I need to steep in these. First is the hops. I pour the hops into the bag like this. That's the hops, just a small amount of hop pellets. I'll tie it at the end. Now these hops are pellets. They are compressed dry hops. you need to close the bag so you've got air around it, so when they expand, they take up the space. With these hops now, there's 16 grams of hops. They're going in when the water starts boiling at 100 degrees Celsius, and it's going to be boiling for 10 minutes constantly. Once the 10 minutes is over, I'm going to put another 10 grams of hops on this side and throw that in and turn the flame off. That's flame out, so basically it's just going to remove some more flavours and scents and stuff like that. That's just an extra bit. I can use the same hop bag, which will make it easier. So after that, I'm going to have to put roasted barley, 50 grams, in a 1 litre pot and boil it for 10 minutes. That's another addition. That's going to bring out the more bitterness of the coffee sort of flavours and aromas, as well as a chocolatey flavour, hopefully, and a bit of this and a bit of that. It's going to be all right, hopefully. Okay, so while that's boiling and I'm waiting for it, I'm going to quickly measure out another 10 gram of hops. 2.4, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10. That'll do. This bag of hops now is going in the freezer. Okay, so while I'm waiting for all that, I might also measure out the barley as well and give them a bit of a crush. This water is almost ready to boil. So first I'll better make sure that's 0. Pour this roasted barley in. 14, 15, 7, 20, 30, 40, 7, 8, 50. Ooh, a couple more crumbs. That's it. So I'm going to put them into another hot bag, which I have been soaking in sanitizer, which I realised I didn't need to. This bloke here, it's all getting boiled, so it doesn't matter. And I'm going to tie a knot in the end, just like before, just like that. And I'm going to put the roasted barley into the sock, because I'm trying to minimise the amount of crap I put in my brew, just like that. And that's not crushed at the moment, so I'm hoping I could just tie the end over and give that a bit of a hit with a hammer. I will. And, oh, hang on, water's boiled. All right, the water's boiled. I'll just turn it down for now so I can put the hops in. So there's a hop bag ready to go. Like I said, that's 16 grams of hops going in and it's getting steeped. That's going to just sit like that. I'll turn the water back up again. Hopefully that'll soon. I'll put a timer on so it has to go for 10 minutes. Where's the clock? It is 4 minutes to 3 at the moment in the afternoon, and we'll work off that. Now I'm going to leave the lid off because I'm a bit worried it's going to overboil. We will boil that for 10 minutes. It'll be just a second for you. How cool does that look? I should have made it a bit bigger actually. I think that'll be fine. It just looks really cool how it's boiling. It's already turning green. It's amazing. Oh, you know what I should have done? I should have pre-loaded this with the other hops while it was doing. I can probably still do that, you know. I might do it. Will I or will I not burn myself? So that's the unplaced hops at the moment. So I'll quickly tie a knot in that. We don't want that to go in the hot water yet, because that is going to add for more flavouring rather than bittering. There you go. So the hops are sitting there that aren't steeped yet, and oh, it's getting hot. I'll put that there like that. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but it seems to be working. I'll probably get told by you guys I shouldn't be doing this, which is fine because I'm learning stuff as I go, and I'm sure you guys are learning with me. I need something to crush this with. What have I got? A rolling pin. We'll try a rolling pin. All right, I haven't got a rolling pin, but I do have a meat hammer. Let's try it, eh? Or meat tender, right? That seems to be working. Oh, yeah, it's crushing it for sure. I can smell it. It smells really good. Now, what do they look like? Hang on. Let's have a look. Look at that. They are nicely belted and crushed. I'm probably going to do a bit more because I know that works, and I'm going to keep more in a harder, like a tighter pile. Look at this. Look at that. It's crushed like coffee. Look at that. Beautiful. I'm happy with that. That worked a treat. The aroma of coffee in here is just massive. It's just brilliant. Okay, so we are at the 10-minute mark. I'm going to drop in the other part and turn the flame off. So this is like flame out when you're actually doing a brew. And I'm going to sit that for another 10 minutes just like that and let it just allow the aromas of the hops to gather through the fluid. I'll pop the lid on so we don't lose too much and we're good to go. Now there's 4 more products I have to put in this. I have to put in the raw sugar, which is 200 grams of raw sugar. I also have to put in, I didn't mention this before, corn syrup powder. That will need to be corn syrup, 250 grams, 750 grams of the dry malt extract, and 500 grams of this one. It's going to be very sweet for the starter. Now, it's probably going to be sweet at the end, which is what I like in a stout. So I'm going to measure this up now, put it all together, and I'll have to mix it in a pot with the hops, smells, and everything else once it's finished doing its steeping, as well as the barley. So it's all going to go in one pot eventually. Now, I do have a separate scales for this job. I've just finished... Sorry, I had something else in that. I just had... just put in some, sanitizer to make sure that I'm not going to destroy it. And I'm going to start measuring out the rest of my items. So basically, I need to zero this. It is in Fahrenheit. Now, we are Australian, so the unit's got to change. How do I change it? Grams. Whoops, that's in grams. So how do I change? There we go, that's the temperature. It's 21.9 degrees outside today. So I might as well measure out the first one. This one is your dark dried malt extract. They came, luckily, in 2 bags, which is great because, you know, you want it to be preserved. And they sealed it, they heat seal it, which is really nice. I need dark dry malt extract. I need 750 grams. You can see. So I'll cut the bag open just slightly. Just like that, and I'll pour it in. Whoa, it's very powdery. That's 200. 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what? I don't think I'm going to fit it all into one container. 7, 30, 40. Wow, it's like a powder. It's very, very fine. All right, 750. We're at 750. I'll seal this container as best I can because I could use this in another brew. Roll it up. All right, and I'll pop that back in its bag so that it's double sealed. Hopefully. Just like that. All right, so I'm going to have to put this somewhere else. What time is it? We've still got another 3 or 4 minutes. So I'll zero this out. Oh, that's the time. That's 0. And we'll just plump in 250 grams of raw sugar. 20, 220, 40, and 53. 253 is fine. Okay, that fitted. So 250 grams because it's a heavier product, so it took a lot less room up. I do still need to put in the corn syrup powder and the light dry malt extract. I may have to measure that in a different container. So this is my extra container. Yeah, why didn't I just use this anyway? No idea. But I'm here, alas, I'm doing it now. So I put more sanitizer in this. This is a clean container, I already cleaned it. I just wanted to make sure it was perfectly sanitized before I start pouring more stuff into it. So that's my bowl of dark dry malt extract and my sugar. I'm now going to put in 250 grams of corn syrup powder. This is a very elaborate recipe, I can tell you. 251, that'll do. We're done with that. The last one is our light dry malt extract. I'll open the bag just like the last one, just a little bit on the edge. And bring, oh yeah, look, it's actually come out of the bag. That's, now I know why they've put 2 bags in, because they come apart. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, we've got a bunch of powder at the bottom there. We've got to get this bag out of the bag that's sealed in the bag. Hopefully I don't make too much of a mess. That's finished steeping, by the way. Oh, shit. Light dry malt, 500 grams. Well, most of it went on the bench. That's 47 grams. Okay, so that's 500 grams. It's very powdery, like I said. Now I'll pop that back into its secondary bag. And I'll just try and roll it up so it's safe. I might be able to use it more of that later. Look at my hands. That's a lot of sugars going in there. Interesting. It's going to be very, 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 very rich flavours. And I think it's about 6 or 7% alcohol too. So the hops are already finished steeping. I need to take them out. I'll use this as a scoop to get the bag out. So that's our hops bag out. And I'll just drop it in the sink. Just get it out of the way for now. It's already done its job. And I'll put that hot water over on the bench over here with the lid on so we don't get any problems. Nicely out of the way, ready to go. So that's it there, all nicely done. Looks like some sort of weird looking green soup. And now I'm going to need to steep the grains. So to steep the grains, I need to add 1 litre of water in here and boil it. What I've done is I've set up my hose and my filler meter to 1 litre. Just turn it on and fill this up to 1 litre by measurement. Just like that. So that should equate to 1 litre. Pop it on. I'll pop the lid on so it boils quicker. And with that boiling, once it's boiled, I'll pop the grains in wherever they are. So the idea was to get all the sugars, put it in the pot of hot water that I've boiled already for the hops, stir it until everything is dissolved, but the pot's too small, so I'm going to have to put that in the fermenter and do it in there, which I'll do in a sec, and I'll introduce you to the fermenter. But now I need to put this in. It said put in another pot, add 1 litre of hot water and roasted barley, bring to the boil. So I'm going to put it in while it's boiling. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now, the reason why we boil stuff like this is it actually sanitizes it as well as brings out, look at that colour, the sugars and everything else in there. It's going to be a little bit cloudy in our beer while it's fermenting, but it'll be fine. So I'll pop that up, let it boil, and now I'm going to introduce you to my fermenter. What we have here is an Apollo Titan. I got this from Keg King. It cost me about $500. It's going to be my fermenter that I go to for anything that I really have that I want to do a decent job with. So right now it is full of sanitizer. I have cleaned it inside and out and it's ready to go. So all I need to do is basically pour that hot water into this fermenter, pour all the additional sugars in there, mix it all together. So you can see the fermenter there. We'll pop the lid off. This has my dip tube in it, or my pickup tube as well. I'll put that over in the sink for now, just to keep it safe. Tip out the sanitizer I have inside it. And now I'm going to funnel some hot water in, oh, actually that water. So I'll grab a funnel. Where's the funnel? Here. Pop the funnel on. It's a little bit wider than the hole, not much bigger. And I'm going to pour this boiling hot goop. I didn't spill any. Done. With that now, that is 90 degrees Celsius water in there. We need to put all our sugars in. I'm going to have to rinse that. Now bear in mind that is 100 degrees Celsius in there. So all of this is getting, sanitized while I'm doing it. I am making a mess, can you tell? This container was a bad idea. I should use the other big one. it smells good. Look how powdery that looks. Or dusty, fine powder sugar. It is malt, basically. It's Milo. Right, we'll stir that in. I'm going to pick up some stuff. There's not much lost, just a little bit. It's not going to really affect the beer that much. Now that's dissolving beautifully in there. Now this is crazy. This is just the dry malts that I got in here. And it's dissolving beautifully. What's it taste like? Oh, it's very nice. What I'll do is the water that's being steeped, which is almost finished with grains, I'm going to pour that into these containers and then pretty much swish it around so that they get dissolved, and then I'll pour that in. Okay, the grains are finished. Turn off the power, turn off the gas I should say. I'll remove the grains. I can't squeeze, it's too hot. Oh, kidding me. And I'll pop that down here so I can actually pour it into these containers here. First container. Oh, it's very dark. Need a stirrer. So that's one stirred in. I'll try and pour it in. You guys can't see much of what I'm doing. I'm just trying to dissolve as much of the dry malt extract as I can before I pour it in, just to get it all out as much as I can. So let's dissolve that pretty good. And I just have to do this one now. Okay, my friends, hopefully you can see that. That's my extract, the rest of it, not extract, powder all dissolved. Look at that, that came out pretty good actually. Got it pretty much dissolved now, I'm pretty happy with that. I know it's a messy job, but someone's got to do it. I'll quickly grab my cloths and just clean up around that area. Remember, this is still about 85 degrees or so in temperature. So we have no issues yet with bacteria, or not much in the issue of bacteria damaging or harming our beer. Right, that's one job done. If you made it this far, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I'm now going to take the extract out. Oh, it's actually quite warm. Very good. Look at the glue. You can see that on there. Wow. I need to open this can. I need to pour it into my fermenter. So the first thing, well, the next thing I have to do, I guess, is get this box out that sink. So I need to put stuff in the sink to clean it. Now I can say that the smell of coffee in here, the aroma of coffee is just beautiful. And there's no coffee involved in making this beer. I've got a can opener, a hand one. This one here is very quiet because it's hand done. And it's quite safe. It actually cuts the rim of the can. Oh, let go. Ow. Oh, okay, so it's quite warm. It had a bit of pressure in there, to be honest. It didn't have pressure before. All right, so I'll take the lid off. Now I'm going to need to extract some of this through rinsing. So basically, when I fill the fermenter up, I will, that won't work. I will, when I fill, that didn't cut it properly. Okay, we'll try again. Okay, so to open this up, so basically I just grab the lip, pull it up, try again. There we go, it hasn't really cut it properly. The can is a little bit different than the other cans I've used. There we go. Oh, look how dark that is. Oh my God, I've got to taste it. Wow, that is tasty on its own. That is very nice. Not sweet enough, not very sweet, very bitter. Not malty, which is what we've done. Okay, so we'll go over to the fermenter. I'll pop the camera up here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Here's the extract. Look at the color of it. It's so black. Look at that. Wow. Now just pour it in. just like that. Just let it sit there for a bit so it flows out and drips. I'll let that sit probably about 5 minutes and let it really run out. It'll make funny noises. I don't know if you heard that or not, but it's gloopy. While it's doing that, I'm going to clean up my mess over here, make sure it's right, and then I'll come back to it and we'll fill the fermenter up with 24 up to 23 litres. I'll have to calculate what I've already put in there, so it's not going to be completely accurate because I don't have measurements on my fermenter. So I wish I did, but I don't. I have a good idea. I know it's going to be about 6.7 litres. That's what I'm guessing at the moment. I'm pretty sure those cans have 6.7 litres in them. The label doesn't really tell me. And I dissolve the rest of it in hot water. I'll figure it out. I'll be back. All right, trying to figure this out. I'm pretty sure it's 1.4 litres. Get off it. 1.4 litres in one of these cans. I'm going to measure it. I want to make sure that it's 1.4 litres. So I'll use my measuring jug, which I'll clean. Settle down, you. Okay, so it's nice and clean. So what it has is increments along here. So what I want to do is just pour or fill this can up with water. Well, I'm going to use it anyway. It's clean. Fill it right up and pour it into that jug. Now I want to go slow because I realise it's going to foam up otherwise. I want to pour that in and basically pour it in a jug and see how much actual fluid is in it. Okay, that's full to the top, mostly. What I'm doing is just pouring it into the jug next to me, just to find out how much is in there. So, in one can of Coopers Stout, we're looking at 1.3 litres. It looks like more, 2.5. Yeah. So we're looking at 1.3 litres of fluid that can holds. So now I need to calculate how much fluid I need for my extract, my fermentation. The biggest thing now I need to find out how much I put in. So I put in 4 litres of hot water with hops, some evaporated. We'll just go on 4 litres. We did 1 litre of the barley steeping. That makes it 5 litres. We probably should add some for all the sugars. I reckon about 250 to 300 mil. 300 mil, yeah. Probably looking at 5.4 litres maximum. And then we've got 1.3 litres we put in with water off the can just now. And that would be 6.7. Yeah, 6.7 litres I've put in so far. Yeah, did I miss something? I feel like I've missed something. No, I haven't missed anything. So now I need to take 6.7 litres, kind of. I'm probably either over or under. Doesn't matter, it should be fine. From 23 litres. So that'd be 16.3 litres of just water to put in there. While I'm topping it up with water, I'm going to actually rinse out the stout can to get rid of or take out the rest of what's in there. Manual. It's pretty goopy. Actually, I'll take that lid off. Well, now it's cooled down. It's very, very thick. All right. Pop that out of the way. I'll use the filometer and measure up 16.3 litres and go from there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tip this into the jug first, then pour it into the fermenter to save a lot of mucking around. So I'm going to get this done. And once I'm done, we'll show you the finishing result and add the yeast. Now I'm going to show you this. I'm actually wrapped. This is all rinsed out, nice and clean. So I've gotten all the extract out. So all I need to do now is just grab this hose and fill it up. I've got probably, I don't know, another 10 litres to go. So I'm going to just fill up this fermenter with whatever's left in the meter, whatever the meter tells me to do. This is going to be aerated big time. Now, according to my calculations, I've done. Look, it's a strong, what I feel is a very strong beer. It's going to be very rich. It's going to be very nice if it works out well. So even if it is over or under, it's not going to matter too much to me. It's going to taste just as good. Yeast. I need to put the yeast in. I think I'm at the end now. I've got Nottingham ale yeast. I've got a bit of extract on here. Isn't that good? High performance ale yeast, if you can see that properly. I'm going to use 2 packets. It's a very sweet beer. So I'm going to use 2 packets of that. If you guys haven't seen it before, I have sanitizer in a spray bottle, which I always spray everything that I use after the temperatures come down to the right temperature. Now, you got to pitch this yeast at about 24 degrees Celsius, 23 degrees Celsius. It doesn't matter if you pitch it at a higher temperature. It won't kill it completely. I haven't had an issue yet with yeast not activating or working. Sorry, just cleaning up here. The issue is if you pitch it at 35 degrees and the yeast can't handle that pitching temperature. So 2 packets of those, I think it's 11 grams each. 2 packets because it's such a sweet beer. I'm going to cut the tops off and pop them in. These have been in the fridge for a few months, a few weeks, and they still look really, really nice. They've been there. Now, yeast packets like this can be rehydrated. I have never done it and I've never had a problem. And they've also got yeast nutrient in them. So you don't have to stress too much. Get away from there. Get away from... Oh, now I've just lost half my yeast. So I pop the yeast on top. Couple of packets. Get out of it. Can't believe it. Did you see that? I'm sure you saw the blowy just land on it then, didn't you? I'm going to keep a good eye on this one. It is going to ferment really vigorously. It's going to be very, very crazy. I do need to take a sample, but I'll first put the lid on. And I can take a sample later. Basically, I can pressurize it, and grab a sample to make sure I know what the gravity is before we get anywhere near started. Now I'm flooding this with sanitizer. The inside has already been sanitized, so everything should be kosher. Oh, just stir that up a bit. I just don't want there we go. I don't want the yeast sticking to the rods of this baby. We'll slide that in. Now, I hear people talking about this all the time. You want to sanitize something, it's sanitized, clean, ready to go. And basically, if anything, any kind of bacteria does get in, it really won't show up in the first few weeks or few months. It will show up later. But the yeast in there is already going to overpower any kind of bacteria that might have got in there. So I wouldn't stress overly way too much anyway. I'm going to shake this little baby up just to get everything mixed through nicely. We've got no leaks. That's the other thing I'm checking. And of course it's been aerated immensely. Just occurred to me, guys, I need to put my tilt in. I have a tilt. I also have 2 pills. One was kindly given me by Mick Eade. Thank you, Mick. But this is the tilt. That's going in now. You know what? I think the tilt's flat. I need a new battery. How about I don't use the tilt and I use a pill? Okay, I'm going to do that. Right, I've dropped the pill in. As you can see here, I'm dropping it in. I'm hoping that this pill will settle in about half an hour and then I'll be able to get a proper gravity reading and a temperature. And then we can find out what it is. But I'm going to do a manual gravity reading anyway, just to be sure and make sure it is correct. So that means I'm going to need to fill the fermenter up with a little bit of gas. I'm going to use a spundy, one of these. I'm going to put that on to keep the gas coming out at the right pressure and go from there. So with this, I basically sprayed a terminal with gas, with sanitizer, as well as the actual gas quick connect. And I'll pop that on. So it's under pressure at the moment. It's got a little bit of gas in it. I'll turn it on and you can hear it going in. Now I want to pressurize that to about 5 psi. I don't want it any higher than that. So you can hear the whistle. That means gas is going in to get it pressurized. I'll let it just go for a little bit until it fills up. And the gauge is saying around about, it's about 6 or 7 psi at the moment. All right, going to get this quickie here. I'm going to actually put sanitizer all through this as well. And then I'm going to get a sample I'm also going to taste it before it's fermented. So you can see here, I'm going to grab a little bit of a sample. I leave my gravity checker or gravity gauge in it, just so I know how much I'm going to grab. And because it's under pressure, it's pushing beer through the lines up into my beacon. There we go. So it's got a bit of cloudiness to it. That's all right. It's allowed to do that. All right, that's done. It is quite warm, to be honest. I can feel the heat. So I'll let that sit for maybe half an hour, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just to let it settle. And we'll find out what gravity it is at. And then we'll work it out from there. Now, all that work we've just done, basically all that sugar we put in, I don't know how high it's going to be in gravity, but it should be right. Because this is at, like I said, 5 psi at the moment. Sorry, it is now at 5 psi. I do have a spundy. Now, I can set the spundy at 5 psi because this is pressurised, this is 5 psi. So once I put this on, gas will come out. I do need to pop a bit of sanitizer in here as well, just to be sure. And then I'm going to push that on. Well, you know, I'm an idiot. I put on the wrong bloody terminal, can you believe it? What a dingbat. Now I'm going to clean this out. Oh, God. Okay. Well, I'll come back to you. All right, we'll start that one again, eh? Pop some sanitizer in it. Pop it on the gas side, which I have injected 5 psi in there. And we'll throw that on. You can't see it. It says just over 5 psi. So I need to open that now. You can hear the gas. It is coming out. I've got to bring that down to 5 psi, which I thought was about 6 psi on the gauge. There you go. We're at 5. Right. It's just stopped. Now you couldn't hear that, but I just stopped it at 5 psi. It should pressurise up to about 5. The reason why I like to pressurise this kind of beer is because of the temperature, because of the foam, because of everything. It's going to foam up a lot. It's very thick beer. If I keep it under pressure, it will keep the foam reduced, so it will stop it from trying to eject out of the airlocks so that we don't get a mess, and that can happen. So I've got to keep my eye on this. I need to ferment this for my own good about 18 to 16 degrees Celsius. So it's going to take a couple of weeks for me to get this fermented properly. I do have a temperature controlled beer in the fridge at the moment, which it's fine. I'll leave it. It's coming out tomorrow, so I'll cold crash it today. And this should go in the fridge tomorrow, and it should start to ferment by then. All right, we'll leave this at this point. We'll come back to it when it's ready to transfer into a keg, and we'll give it a good old tasting. Oh, on tasting, let's try it. Okay, so this is it. It's a gravity of around about... Oh, stuck to my finger there. You're looking at 10... Hang on. There we go. Bit of foam in there. 1054 is what we got at. It reads 1054 on the gauge, so... Yeah, 1054. Bloody brilliant. It is a lot less sweet than I thought it would be anyway. It smells very nice. It smells like beer. Let's taste it. That is good. The flavouring is malty. Not that malty. It's very bitter. Hopefully the bitterness will subside a bit. It's not entirely overly sweet at all. It's very tasty though. It's very drinkable. And that's before it's even actually fermented. It should ferment down a fair bit. And I'm looking at a beer that's going to be a very tasty beer in the long term. Looking forward to the flavour. It is really nice. It's going to be great. And you know, thinking all the malt we put in, all the sugars we put in, it's really not that sweet. I thought it would be more. Oh well, let's see how it goes, huh? Okie dokie, we are now going to cold crash this product. Now, got a problem. I had a gravity checker, and it was sitting on the table. We did a bit of sweeping and cleaning in our kitchen, and it fell on the tiles on the floor, and now it's smashed. It is Saturday today. No breweries or brew shops are open, and I now have to find another way. Well, I can rely on the pill. The pill works. It seems to seems to be doing the job, so it should be fine. Basically, it's finished fermenting. It's finished fermenting in the last 2 days or 3 days. The pill has shown it at 1.020, down from what the pill was saying it was at 10.69. So it was actually quite high in gravity. I didn't really notice that. And I did taste it, as you know, and the sugars didn't seem that much. And I thought, should it be a lot sweeter than this? So I'd say it's eaten through a lot of sugar at the moment. So it's going to be about 6.3% alcohol. So what I'm going to do now is actually cold crash it. At the moment, the pressure in the can, in the fermenter is at 11 to 12 psi. You normally lose, what I found is you normally lose about 8% psi, 8 psi when you cold crash it to 2 degrees Celsius. It is a stout. I'm not sure if I should be cold crashing it, but I will anyway, because that's what I do. So I'm going to cold crash this at 2 degrees. In the fridge, it's already at 2 degrees. It should be done by the morning, and I should be able to transfer it into a keg, and we'll give it a taste. What I've done is I've put in a probe, just so the thermometer or the temp controller will know what temperature it's at. As you can see, the temperature is starting to rise. You probably can't see that. It's going to raise to about 20 degrees because the weather has been 20 degrees and plus some. So that is now in there. I'm going to add more pressure to it. I'll add another 5 psi at least to make it 15 psi, and we should be safe for it not to implode. All right, see you tomorrow. Okay guys, as you can see, I'm transferring at the moment. I grabbed a sample, this one here, and it's looking good. Smells good. The only problem is I don't know the gravity. I can't get a gravity reading because I broke my gravity reader. So I'll need to get a new one of those. But when I do have a reading, I'll pop it up here right now, and I'll pop the alcohol volume as well right now. So it smells phenomenal. It smells sweet. It smells like a stout. It's just really good. I don't know. It doesn't. Actually, it smells a bit bitter. Now, the gravity was supposed to be 1020, but I don't think it went. I think it went further than that. I don't think the pill was working properly in the fermenter. It's a stainless steel fermenter, so I'm getting bad readings. I have this sample. It is very hot and humid at the moment. It is morning. We've had 36 degrees, 37 degrees, 40-degree days the last couple of days, so I've had it in the fridge crashing, and that's why it's transferring into my keg. You can hear the hiss, of course. Let's try it, shall we? Well, that's worth it. It's not sweet. It's got a bitterness on the tongue, quite bitter. That'll subside in about 4 weeks or so as age happens. I might actually, once I check the reading, I'll find out what the alcohol volume is. I might even put some bourbon in that to try and enhance the taste. It does need a bit of sweetening. It's actually dry. It's not overly bitter, so it must have fermented down a lot more. It's tasty. That's going to taste better after a month or so of aging. That's awesome. Well, once it's slightly carbonated, it is now. Once it's fully carbonated, which won't be a lot anyway, I'll pour myself a proper glass and we'll do a full tasting in about a month's time. All right, guys, this is it. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this whole video. You're awesome. I am at 5,000 subscribers for Simple Homebrew now. Really happy with that. And we're carrying on. So guys, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, thanks for being part of this channel. Thank you to my Patreon members for looking after this channel, which is great. I need it. Need to keep making videos, making beer, and give you an idea on how I do it. Guys, cheers. Have a great one.